So I'm Forrest. I teach at Center Music, drums, which is a big, drum set, a snare drum, percussion, a little bit of mallet instruments. We have a bell kit. And I'm going to try to show you how to understand playing page 11 in the drum set musician book, making sense of the two columns, A and B. One uses eighth notes and the other one uses quarter notes. So this lesson is really for people who are starting on the drum set and get home and think, what did I just learn? How do I use it? How do I make sense of it? So what are we doing when we play the drum set? We're learning to keep time for musical settings in bands or even, by ourselves. So here's a book that I like the title, The Timekeepers, the Great Jazz Drummers. And you might say, well, I want to be a rock drummer. Well, there was a time in history when anybody who played the drum set was a jazz drummer because rock and roll didn't exist. And then rock and roll evolved out of jazz drumming. Anyway. So if you've had the first lesson and you learned the most basic beat, it's all about quarter notes. So Tyler is going to play the quarter note, and then I'm going to come in with the basic beat. You want to something like 60 beats per minute, nice and slow, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we just played 4 measures in 4/4 and all quarter notes. And why did I do 4 measures? Because music overwhelmingly is grouped in units of 2, 4, 8, 12, 16. So 4 measures is a good thing to get used to feeling. Can we do faster? Like sure. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. Faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. As you get better, you're able to play these from muscle memory, just repetition. You can go faster, as fast as you want to go, but you have to keep the pulse steady and even. That's the goal. Because we're timekeepers, just like a clock, it moves consistently. When we change the speed, we're changing the tempo. So find a really comfortable, easy tempo, and then try to challenge yourself. Then the second beat you usually learn takes the quarter note and splits it in half. So we're going to go back to the really slow tempo. You can count me in with 4 beats, and then I'm going to play eighth notes on the hi-hat. This is like playing 1A in the book you're using. Go ahead. If you remember your lesson, what did I make you do? Count out loud, because I think that's part of the coordination. Doesn't mean you have to count out loud all the time, but you should be able to count out loud with ease. So we're going to do it again, and I'll count out loud the way you should work at counting. Go ahead.
Same tempo?
Yeah. Okay, easy enough, right? So Where the difficulty comes is when we go back to quarter notes, the B column, and we start splitting quarter notes with only the bass drum. The first one you learn splits beat 3 into 3 and the and of 3, which happens halfway between 3 and beat 4. This is a hard concept to grasp, but with, trial and error, people get it. Let's try that a little faster, like 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's pretty much what the B column is about, keeping the pulse steady. I'll do it the way I hear people do it wrong sometimes, all right? You keep going. I'm going to try to make a purposeful mistake. 1, go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. So you can see it's even hard for Tyler to keep the pulse, because as soon as I collapse 3 and come to 4 too early, that wasn't even what I was trying to do, but you have to keep the pulse steady and everything will sort of fall in place like a grid. So I hope this helps a little bit when you get home and you're maybe confused about how to remember what you did during the lesson. I see that it usually takes between 2 or 3 weeks to 6 to 8 weeks for people to understand, and then it becomes crystal clear. A lot of people resist learning to read music, but it's a lot easier learning to read music than it actually is to develop the coordination to play the drum set. And it's a huge help so that you can teach yourself. I don't really teach people how to play the drums. I show them what to do, and they painstakingly teach themselves when they fight through all the coordination little problems that we have to solve.